Hey, I'm Eric Haugen. Check the description box below for where you can find me digitally, information about the sound tools I'm using today, and links to my laid-back caged masterclass with Truefire.com. Okay, today we're talking about sixths. Not a sixth chord, the sixth interval. It is a beautiful melodic device, and it can be a confusing melodic device. Here's the deal. Let's start with, we're actually not going to start with the opening rung. Let's say we're playing an A chord, A bar chord here. This is where they always start, is with this structure here, this bar chord structure. The first one anybody ever learns is Brown-Eyed Girl, which is actually thirds if you listen closer. But anyway, a sixth is actually a harmonized scale. It's actually, the important note is the upper note, this. That's A, B, C sharp, you know, do, re, mi, re, do, and you're actually harmonizing sixth notes below it. Because if I counted the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes, scale tones, 6 scale tones between those things. And that's why, yeah, they're one of my favorite little things to do other than pentatonic fills or pentatonic double stops. They're probably the next thing that I'm like, ooh, that's a nice thing to do to a chord. All right, so let's look at this etude that I put together to practice sixes. It's so hard to say. Sixths. All right, ready? So it drops in actually on a D chord. So again, I'm visualizing this D chord here and grabbing this pair, and I am using my fingies. Whew, that was loud. Could probably do this. Yeah, I could hybrid pick it too, but I'm just going to do it the way I did it. You can do it however you want to. So if I'm visualizing this, what I'm actually doing is thinking about going down an A scale. Watch this top note. Is actually what I'm watching for, and to do these this way, which isn't as important about what I'm about to show you, you have to be able to see an A scale on both strings. Detour, but anyway. So I'm not going to say the frets. By the way, hey, why not? Boosh! I'll throw the tab up on Patreon for free. You could head on over there and grab it. So yeah, then you slide back. And notice I hit that open D and let him ring. And here's a special little detour side note. I always recommend with sixes to keep the middle finger on the inside. There's a temptation to go like this. Don't do this. Look what it does to your hand. It makes it so that this hand's all out like this, and then you have to switch back and forth. 9 and 9, 7 and 7. And then that 5 is by himself. And that's just a little, yeah, it's A major, isn't it? Yeah. Grabbing that part of the A chord. And then, what I'm trying to display here is that, again, for me, everything is chords first. Everything is chords first. I don't really recommend just practicing scales and not associating them with chord structures. That's why I'm such a caged zealot. It's easier to remember guitar that way. It's easier to navigate the fretboard. So that's actually the same thing. If you listen to that upper note, there's that do, re, mi, or really mi, re, do at this point. So I'm actually doing the same thing, but noticing that it's inside this chord structure. That, I'm not going to say the frets. It backs up. I will say that. That's a chromatic approach, 4 and 7. So I went, And then to display that, like, oh, by the way, here's the other one, that they're both there. In this structure, you actually have two to choose from. Or, that's what I was trying to show with this whole etude, this whole exercise, that if this, then you got this. And forevermore, to use instead of a double stop fill or a pentatonic fill, you could always, or, anyway, so it does that. And dip, 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 boom, boom. Cool little approach. And then, again, doing that very Nashville thing to do. Instead of just going, you go. It's not more information, it's just a slightly more elegant way to distribute the information. And then, yeah, okay, whole thing. And then me, the way my brain works, I'm like, well, if I know what to do for a major chord, better know what to do for a minor chord. Okay, F sharp minor, 6th chord in the key of A minor. Well, I was like, well, I bet I could do the same thing. Which, yeah, you can. Obviously, the notes change now because this is a minor chord. There's that 2, 1, 4. There's the mi, re, do, or really me, re, do if you're using solfege. So that 2, 4. 1 and 2 there. And open and 4, which is the same as doing that. Same thing. Same idea though. That's the important note. The lower note is actually the harmony in 6s. That's where people get broken. F sharp minor. Same idea, now higher. That's the important note. It's harmonized below it. That's what a 6th does. And again, what did I do? Notice, look at this finger. He's always on the inside line. Because if I went like this, always going to be jumpy. And then, just goes down to an E, the 5 chord, and same thing. All right, if this, which is really the same shape as this, I'm really dealing with just, quote unquote, in the caged world, those are E shapes. 4 and 4, 2 and 2, 1 and 0. Again, important note is the high note. And then, you know, just super engineering mindset. Same thing an octave lower. There it is. 1, 4, 2, G sharp, F sharp, E. Harmonize it a 6th below. And then I'd go to a D chord. A good one, though. Okay. Plenty of time still. 5, 5, 4. That's a fun one. And then I just kind of did a little major 7. So if this is D, I'm getting this major 7 tone, this C sharp here, that 6th fret on my G string. Up and then down again. Down to the 2. O and 4, that's an A and an F sharp, still loosely implying a D chord. 2, O, and then resolve back to A. You know, a little chromatic approach note from that C to that C sharp. So just to review, a 6th is, what's important to realize, it's actually the twinkly upper note that is the important note, and you're harmonizing below it. Watch out for stuff like this when going down rabbit holes about 6s. Like, let's say I'm in E. Stuff like that is very cool. It's a very beautiful melodic device. It gets us into trouble when we're actually trying to make up parts and navigate songs because, well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to keep everything really close to chords that I'm playing, because in songs that you're playing, the chords are moving on you. So I don't really recommend working too hard on these big things that move around the fretboard this way, because you get into a little bit of a problem when it comes time to really make something up. You have this thing that goes all over the place, but you can't move it to different keys. So that's why, again, that's why chords first. Know that if I'm grabbing this shape, or, if I'm grabbing this one, and by the way, this therefore is true of the 5 cage shapes, that every one of them, if I had a C, or this C, or this one, or this one, or this one, that the same thing holds true for me, that everything is about the chord first, and then with that chord behind it are the other things. I don't really recommend doing big scale-only things with this instrument. This is a chordal instrument. I think it's more important to learn chords first and then attach the things to the chords, but that's me. And this guitar teacher, any guitar teacher can only say what what makes sense to them and the way they see it. That's how I see it. I'm Eric Haugen, and that's my story. Anyway, thanks so much to everybody who supports me in all the ways that you do. Patreon, purchasing downloads, booking lessons, following the affiliate link to purchase the Truefire course. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. I think we have a nice thing going here. I'm helping you, you're helping me. Thank you. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. That includes yourself. Happy Friday. Eat pizza.